Welcome to it, sports fans. Another day, another show. What a time to be alive. It is a different ball game. Monday the 7th or 6th, one of the two. Anyway, I'm alive on this day. Welcome to it. A different ball game. Feels good to be alive. It's great to be great. I am not alone. I am with the lovely Woude Muller. Woude, how are you?
Hey, yes, I'm good. I'm also not alone today. We have a special guest in the show. She decided to make an appearance for the first time. So this is better for everyone that doesn't know yet. Yeah. No, and I had a great weekend. Formula One was back yesterday and it was actually very exciting. I know you're not interested in it, but it's actually a really, really exciting comp yesterday. Or race, you want to call it that. Yeah.
I bet. Good. I bet. I was just going around a track. It's thrilling stuff. Oh, well, I'm glad you had a good weekend. Welcome back to the guys on the track, Lewis, Hamilton, and co.
Yeah, Lewis made a few mistakes yesterday, and he got a penalty. So Lewis couldn't end on the podium, even though he was second. But I know you're not interested. Anyone else who is interested in Formula One, contact me directly, and we can chat about it.
Yeah, tragic. Guy in a car didn't get to finish on a podium. Awful stuff. Let's get straight into it. Looking forward to a great week. We've got such a cool week of guests and ideas for this week. Really looking forward to it. Let's get straight into it. By the way, cool guest today. Got a cool guy as a guest today. Looks like he's still 25. I don't know what they got going down there in Cape Town. The water must be different down there. Looks amazing. So can't wait to have him on a little bit later. But we are back this week and we're going to talk about the Liverpool fans. Of course, they've been going berserk about how great their team is. We'll talk a little bit about them and how great is this team really. And then we'll talk a little bit about the rugby. Of course, all the rugby seems to be rolling back. Even South Africa looks like they might be training soon. So the Aussies are back. The New Zealanders have been back for a while. Looking forward to getting to that. But let's get into it. Let's get going on this Monday. It is July the 6th. My goodness, who would have thought? In pandemic years, it's really like 2027. But anyway, let's get to it. I'm pumped. I am pumped today to talk about Liverpool. So they're going to win the league, or they've won the league already. It is a foregone conclusion now. Mathematically, they are out in front. They'll break a few records. What I won't tolerate from this point forward is anybody telling me how great this Liverpool team is. Stop telling me that. Stop it. It's good. You've won the league once, and all of a sudden, it's the greatest team. I heard somebody say, honestly, yesterday, that this is the greatest team the Premier League's ever produced. I nearly vomited. And I've got a pretty stable physiology. By all standards, I'm a pretty healthy guy. Don't drink, don't smoke. Try and get my 6-7 hours of sleep a night, Try and keep, toxic people out of my life. Try and keep a safe space. But I nearly vomited yesterday when I heard a Liverpool fan say, this is the greatest team to ever exist in the Premier League. Let me tell you something, you're not even in the top 5. I'm going to list the teams that are comfortably better than this Liverpool team purely through greatness. You don't get to be great off one season win. So I'm going to list the teams that are better than Liverpool, and then I will show you that I don't think any of the Liverpool players currently get into the all-time team of the dynastic teams. So not necessarily the best team in Premier League history, but the dynasties. So let's have a look at the teams that have been great and where they place. The greatest team of all time is the Man United team, right? Fergie's first three-peat team, 98 to 01. Unstoppable. That's like treble. And it matters, by the way. It matters when you win off the other tournaments as well. Liverpool's team this year didn't take any other competition seriously. They got spanked in the Champions League. They didn't take the League Cup seriously. They didn't take the FA Cup seriously. That's nobody else's fault. Fergie's team three-peated and won the treble. That counts. You want to be great. You have to be different. They took everything seriously. Won the FA Cup, won the Champions League. Mourinho's first go-round. They won 2 in a row. They defended the title. They conceded 15 goals in a season. That may never happen again. 15 goals in an entire season. Jose Mourinho's 04-06 team, and defended the title. Great teams. Good teams can win a title. Leicester won the title. Blackburn won the title. Great teams defend it. Again, Fergie's next team, 3-peats. That's the Vidic-led, Ferdinand-led team. Carrick-led. Rooney, Ronaldo, Tevez, that team. 3 titles in a row. They did the League Cup double in one of those years. Once again, taking another competition seriously. If you want to be special, you don't just win the league, you win the others. And then the ultimate, right? So that's in 3rd place. In 4th place, the undefeated Gunners. If it was so easy to go unbeaten, someone else would have done it. They went unbeaten the whole season. The Invincibles went the whole season undefeated. Don't tell me Liverpool's better than that. They didn't get spanked by Watford 3-0. I saw that happen to Liverpool. It was no days off for the Invincibles. Henry and co. said history that we may never see again in our lifetime. I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime again. Quite incredible. And then last year's Man City team, 100 points. But not just 100 points. First team ever to win the domestic treble. League Cup, FA Cup. These things matter. If you want to be special, it doesn't make you special just to win the league. You must win everything else in order to be a dynasty. The City team last year is unbelievable. 100 points. And he took every competition seriously. Not only did he take it seriously, he won all of it. The only thing he didn't win is the Champions League. Unheard of. Clean sweep locally. It has never been done before. And then whatever happens this year, Liverpool are only going to win the league. They can get 4,000 points. All they're doing is winning the league. Blackburn have done that. Leicester have done that. You're not special if you win one league. I'm sorry. You cannot be the greatest by just winning the league. So I've had enough of it. And for me to nearly vomit, I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I nearly vomited. It's sickening. And if you don't believe that, let me show you the team. Look at this team here. There's no Liverpool players in the greatest team of all time. So I'm just taking those dynastic teams. Dennis Irwin. Don't tell me about Trent Alexander-Arnold. He can't defend. Irwin could do everything. Play on the right, play on the left. Part of nine title-winning teams. 9 title-winning teams. What do you want from the guy? Ricky Carvalho changed the face of centre-back in the league. Tough and compromising, but could carry it out like Bobby Charlton from the back. Like Franz Beckenbauer from the back. Ricky Carvalho, absolute part of that team that considered 15 goals in a league season. Nemanja Vidic, probably the best centre-back in the league, in league history. Ashley Cole, if you want to know how good this guy is, ask Cristiano Ronaldo. The best one-on-one marker the Premier League's ever seen. Ashley Cole, comfortably. Cristiano Ronaldo is Cristiano Ronaldo. Roy Keane's Roy Keane. He's the greatest centre-mid to ever play in this league. Claude Makelele is so good, he had a position named after him. In a sport that's been around, give or take 800 years, when you have a position named after you. That's how good this guy was. Ryan Giggs is Ryan Giggs. Sergio Kun Aguero is top 3 best strikers to ever play in the league. And Thierry Henry is the greatest player to ever play in the league. In goals, they got some guy called Peter Schmeichel, the best goalkeeper that's ever played in the league. There's not a position there for a Liverpool player. People are going to say Virgil van Dijk. Where are you putting Virgil van Dijk? Ahead of Nemanja Vidic. You're taking the mickey. Nemanja Vidic was the leading force in a team that 3-peated. Ricky Carvalho led them to the double in a League Cup win. So do me a favor. And then in goal, they got Peter Schmeichel. You can like Alisson, but I'm sorry. Forget it. So I'm sick and tired of Liverpool fans. This nostalgia. Guys, congratulations. Now it's going to sound like we hate Liverpool. We don't. Calm down. You've been good. You've been very, very good this season. Don't call your team great. Leicester won the league once. Blackburn won the league once. By the way, manager, there's some guy called Alex Ferguson. 13 titles. 13 titles. One manager. 2 Champions League titles. And I know we're talking just Premier League. 13 titles, that manager. That's greatness. He 3-peated twice. League doubles. A treble. That's greatness. Stop giving me this nonsense of winning the league and telling me you're great. I'm out on Liverpool being great. What I am in on, though, if you defend the league, you get in the conversation. Right now, it's a good team. Congratulations to Liverpool. Congratulations to the Merseyside. I'll have no more of it. Absolutely sickening. A fit fit as a fiddle, young man like myself, and I say young, oof, that's been kind, nearly vomited yesterday when I heard it. I've never been healthier. If you support Liverpool, calm down. Get off Facebook. Get a hobby. Go for a walk. Clear your head, because you're an idiot if you say great again. You're an idiot. I'm sorry. If you're a Liverpool fan and you tell me you're great because you won a league title once, I'm saying it right now. You are an idiot. I've said it. With that, let us head over to the rugby. They are back in Australia. Jacinda Ardern and New Zealand have been doing it for 4 weeks now. Let's hear what Woude Muller has to say about the weekend's rugby action in the skip pass.
We had 4 games of Super Rugby this weekend. Australia kicked off their version of Super Rugby, whatever they want to call it, with the Reds beating the Waratahs to end their 11-match losing streak to the men from New South Wales. They won that match 32-26. So it was quite close. It was quite, exciting in Australia terms. Let's rather just say that. Can't really say it's exciting rugby. The Brumbies beat the Rebels 31-23. I definitely expected that margin to be much bigger than it was. The Rebels actually really took on the Brumbies in their scrums. I thought the Brumbies would be very dominant in their scrums, and they actually weren't, which was quite surprising. And then over in New Zealand, the Crusaders showed again why they are the best team in Super Rugby by beating the Highlanders 40-20. They scored 2 tries in the last 3 minutes of the game, and they secured a second bonus point. And then the poor Chiefs lost their 4th match in a row, this time to the Hurricanes. And even though the Hurricanes had 14 men on the field for about 30 minutes of that match. Before I get to my team of the week, I don't think we can talk about this weekend's rugby without mentioning Jordie Barrett's massive penalty kick. And remember, in New Zealand, they don't have the luxury we have in South Africa with high altitude and air bit thinner. So that 58-meter penalty kick of his is quite incredible. It just shows again how amazing he is. Scott Scrofton getting a double yellow card. And I think for stupidity, he probably should have gotten another one. Because if you do that, the same offense twice, you know you shouldn't be offside. You know you should give a guy at least 10 meters before you tackle it. Come on. That's just, anyway, ended up getting a red, and he was off the pitch for 30 minutes in that game. And then I think, which is really surprising to me, is Sam Cane not getting a yellow card, possibly even a red, for his late high tackle and shoulder charge on TJ Perenara. And this is not something that I would want to see from the future All Blacks captain, or the current one, who's going to be the captain when the tests start again. And that was really not great, because it just means that he can't really deal with what's going on under the pressure and when they start losing. And that's not what I want to see from a captain. But what also shows me is the fact that some yellow cards were given and some not, some penalties, some scrum penalties. I got really confused what was actually going on in some of the games and why some penalties were given and why some not. So now that inconsistency of the referees are coming through again. So the first few weeks of Super Rugby Aotearoa, it was actually much better, and they were quite consistent and quite brutal with their penalties, and especially around the breakdown with the new regulations. But now I'm not liking what I'm seeing, and this is really not what I wanted to start seeing. But I think we can definitely talk about that a little bit more, because today I would want to spend more time talking about my team of the week. So seeing as that I had 4 games to choose from now, instead of just picking a person in a jersey number, I kind of went a bit more general with their positions. And please, you guys, let me know what you think, if you agree or disagree with me on my pick, and then we can see where we go from there. So my 2 props, I started with Matt Gibbon from the Rebels. Now, I mentioned before that the Rebels really took on the Brumbies in that scrum. And Matt, I think he only conceded 1 penalty in that entire match. He made 8 out of 9 tackles. But for me, his scrummaging was solid enough, and he earned that spot in the team of the week. And then I've gone with Tal Lomax. So I think he was quietly just kind of going on with his game. I don't think this is even someone that someone really look into unless you start looking at his stats. So I think he made 11 tackles. He had a turnover. Don't think he conceded many penalties in that scrum. So for me, Lomax from the Hurricanes definitely also deserves that spot. Hooker, so you could really have actually gone for a few people here. I picked Taylor just because I think he was so quick in running up to almost score that try. You could have gone with Fainga. He definitely could have taken it. His lineouts were good. I think it was 86% lineouts. He scored a try, had a try assist, and he made 12 out of 12 tackles. Katie Taylor, I just think the way that he dealt with the whole team, the way that he captained it, and especially in that last 10 minutes of the Crusaders, I think he's really coming through and showing why he's a great, great addition to that team. My locks, I went with Murray Douglas from the Brumbies. He had 3 runs, 25 meters made, and 15 out of 15 tackles. He also won 5 lineouts. So Brumbies lineouts were very good. Mike Douglas definitely, or Murray Douglas definitely contributes to that. And then I went with James Blackwell from the Hurricanes, my other lock. He was very busy defensively. He almost made 20 tackles in that game. So definitely deserves spot for him. Loose forwards, we can have a few arguments about this one. Those are the 3 that I picked. I picked Shannon Frizzell, Duplessis Karifi, and Reed Princep. So you can definitely throw in Ardie Sevilla there. I think the Hurricanes back row was absolutely phenomenal. Between the 3 of them, between Karifi, Princep, and Ardie Sevilla, they made something like 37 tackles that day. So the back 3, amazing. It was great to see Ardie Sevilla back. I think he's back to his pre-injury form. So it's great. I think it's the first game that he's really been playing the way that we're used to seeing him play. But these 3 I picked. Princep I picked. There was nothing flashy with ball in hand. He made 21 tackles and he only missed 2. He was the number 1 tackler of the week. So I definitely think he deserves a spot there. Karifi, for me, he made 14 big tackles himself. He was just, I think he was just such a menace on that pitch. Yes, you could give, like I say, give it to Ardie Sevilla, but he's the one for me. And then Shannon Frizzell, you can't leave that man out of the team of the week. He has just been absolutely incredible. And I think he just reminded the All Blacks selectors of what he can do. A few youngsters have been putting up their names, but he's definitely been saying, wait a minute, hold my drink. I'll show you what I can do. He scored a great try. He was when that try was carrying a third of the Crusaders team, so he had 5 oaths on his back, carrying them over the line to score that try. Made 18 tackles. He did miss 4, but if you think about a guy that's that busy on the pitch, missing 4 tackles is not a lot. Because a lot of the times you actually go for a tackle that you might not really make, even though you're slowing down a player, so it's easier for the next person to tackle him. So he definitely deserves to be in the team. Scrum half, went with Aaron Smith. His passes were superb. He had great vision on the field, and he was probably one of his best games in a Highlanders jersey that I've seen in a while. He's definitely getting back to where we used to be. I love Aaron Smith. I think he's a great player, but he was a bit on and off, but he's definitely coming back. Fly half, Richie Mo'unga. His kicking percentage wasn't great. He only got 67% of his kicking. And if this was Beauden Barrett, people would have given him a lot of flack for that. But kicking out of hand for Richie Mo'unga was great. He just controlled the game well again. You could also argue for Noah Lotisia from the Brumbies. He did a pretty good job. As a 20-year-old, I think he was quite composed and effective. And he definitely bested the Wallabies incumbent, Matt Samoa. So I think Rainey will definitely start looking at this guy for future Wallaby pickings. Midfielders, I think the midfielders weren't entirely great. I went with Goodyear and Luamape. Midfielders, you could have gone with a few. Goodyear was good. He was nothing flashy. He's offloaded well. He was always there in support runs and in breaks. Luamape, we always give him flack for his defense, but he actually got 13 out of 14 tackles this week. Not great with ball in hand this week, but his defense is definitely picking up. So he's definitely been working on that part of his game. And then outside backs, Will Jordan, obviously, he was the first guy whose name I wrote down on my team sheet. Jordie Barrett, he deserves to be there. He had that massive penalty, he had some great runs, and it's great seeing him just slotting back into that Hurricanes team. And then I went with a Waratahs player, Jack Maddox from, like I say, the Waratahs, even though it was a losing team, he played really well. He scored 1 try, 16 runs, with 139 run meters. And that's the most running meters of any player in this entire weekend. He had 4 out of 4 tackles. It doesn't sound amazing, but he's not great defensively. So even for him doing that shows that he's been working on that. And then again, like if we go back to Will Jordan, again, he's my player of the week. You literally cannot leave this guy out of any team at the moment. He played 14 and 15 this weekend. And this week, his stats are just better than they were last week. He scored 2 tries. He had 17 runs, 127 meters, which is the second most of anyone this weekend. 4 clean breaks, most of anyone this weekend. 10 defenders beaten, number 1 spot for that. And he had 4 out of 5 tackles. If you want to give him a black mark, you can give him a black mark. He conceded 3 turnovers, but the rest of it, number 1 and number 2, and he had 127 meters, which was second most of any player. This is definitely, for me, a player to watch to win the player of the tournament. And I think you might as well just give him a black jersey already. So there's my team of the week. Please let me know what you guys think. I know some people will disagree with me, but that's part of the game. But I hope my arguments were good enough to change your mind. And yours, Mbolelo.
Reese probably feels hard done by to not make. Woude is a hard taskmaster because Sevu Reese has set up an incredible try and then scored. His finishing is out of this world, by the way. His try in the corner, out of this world. But hey, Woude is a tough taskmaster. You don't just get into that team. You've got to be almost perfect. So can't fight you there, Woude. Cannot fight you there.
Reese did start off the bench, and I think in 30 minutes he made a massive impact on that Crusaders team. And what this also just kind of showed me, the combination between him on wing and Will Jordan on 15 just works so well together. I think Will Jordan, his chip and chase and scoring a try was probably the highlight of that match for me. So very well deserved man of the match. Like I said, Aaron Smith was great. He could probably have also won man of the match if it wasn't for Will Jordan. But yeah, I'm a massive Will Jordan fan, obviously. But
they got some options, and yeah, they got some options. Milner Scudder still to come back. They've got Eno on the other side at the Crusaders. They've got Sevu Reese who can just come off the bench. I mean, this team loading. Crusaders next dynasty loading.
And remember, they rested George Bridge for this weekend, so he's also still there.
Yeah, All Black left wing.
Yep. No, that depth of that Crusaders team is just insane. No one can top that.
You know my feelings on them. Greatest dynasty in rugby history. Greater than the All Blacks. They've been dominating rugby. Not even the All Blacks have dominated rugby for 25 years. The Crusaders have been dominating rugby for 25 years. I mean, they are the New England Patriots and Manchester United. Well, not lately Man United, but Fergie's Man United of rugby. Yeah. 25 years since Super Rugby started. It's been like, okay, Crusaders. They should really call it the Crusaders Invitational. They shouldn't even call it Super Rugby. Well, to everybody, let us know what you think of Woude's team. She is not an easy person to please. Sevu Reese, you did what you could, but I'm afraid Woude says, not this week, mate. Not this week. I like your team, Woude. Like that back three. It is that is tries galore. Plus, you got Lamape, and then you got Jack Goodhue. So you've got a bit of muscle in the middle, and then you got Goodhue's distribution. I love it, Woude. I love that team. And then you had, Shannon Frizzell. What a try. Oh, my goodness. Like Woude said, he carried half of the world on his shoulders. And wow, he is just a monster. So, Woude, I love your team. I really, really like it. I think it's going to be tough for people to go against that one. So that is the skip pass for today. I'm still saying now Woude needs to be the selector for the Springboks because there's no sentiment. It's how did you play? She goes off stats. She knows what she's seeing. And if you're not the best, you don't get it on your name. Nothing personal, pure business. Woude Muller, that's who you want selecting your team. That's the skip pass. Ladies and gentlemen, coming up, our guest, former Cobras, the Cobras in the Western Cape, Western Province back then. An absolute legend and all-rounder for them. And indeed, Proteas International. Cannot wait to talk to him. He's coming up after this. Yes. Let's get straight to our guest because I've got plenty to ask him and he's done us the honor of joining us. So let me introduce him and then we will get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, made it the oldest school in the country, Sax, down in Cape Town. He now does gardens that are fit for the finest kings of queens in the land. He is a former Western Province, former Protea all-rounder, went to the 1999 World Cup. He now has 2 kids that I'm sure keep him pretty busy, ladies and gentlemen. The finest son from the Western Cape, Alan Dawson.
Hello, thanks very much, man. What an introduction.
Hey, takes the finest to recognize the finest. By the way, Alan, how old are you now? You look like you are 23. Do you have that Benjamin Button thing going?
No. I turned 15 November last year.
That's unbelievable. That's sickening. You know what? I'm going to, after seeing what you look like now, I'm taking down all the mirrors in my house because you look better now than I look. I'm 20 years younger than you. It's unbelievable. What's your secret?
I don't know. I guess just having fun and keeping healthy, hey? Keeping fit and strong.
Don't you have 2 kids?
I do. I have a son who's 21 and I have a daughter who's 18.
Oh my goodness. So how don't you look stressed? Just an 18-year-old daughter and a 21-year-old. You should just be stressed. You should look like me.
Well, I don't think you can see the gray hairs on the screen here, but there's a lot of stress going with a 21-year-old and an 18-year-old, hey? Sure.
I thought so. All right, it must be the good lighting kind of fading because that gray kind of looks blonde in that lighting.
I wish it was blonde.
Alan, an absolute honor to have you on. Somebody who I used to, you know, when I think of you, and I hope this is taken correctly, as just your hard-nosed cricketer who worked. He didn't cheat anything. There was no system for him. You're the type of guy who inspires, you know, the average guys. Just grind your way there because you were a hard-nosed cricketer. You did everything right, and you seem like a guy that never cut a corner. Would that be an adequate way to describe your playing style and your journey in cricket?
Yeah, Mbalela, I think you're pretty much right. I mean, I don't think I was the most talented cricketer, but I just had a desire to play and to do well and represent my province and then my country. And it certainly didn't come naturally to me. It's all down to really, really hard work. And I learned from a young age that if I was going to achieve, I would have to put in extra hours. I wasn't as talented as a lot of the other guys that I played with. And just really had to go and put in lots and lots of hard work outside of practice time as well. So yes, I guess it did come down to really hard work and I guess a lot of discipline as well.
And you speak of that, I think that's such an awesome thing because not everybody's AB de Villiers, right? And we tend to think only those guys get into the Protea team. So were you the type of guy that would be? Because to me, I considered you an all-rounder. I think you were heavily underused. I think you could have possibly batted higher in the lineup. You could have been a handy number 7, number 6. I believe that. I truly believe that. I don't know whether you agree with that or not, but were you the type of guy, would you want to bowl a certain amount of deliveries a day at practice, or how did you put in those hours? Did you have like, I know Michael Hussey says he used to want to hit a certain amount of balls every morning and every afternoon. What was your practice schedule like?
Yeah, I mean, just to get back to your first question there about being an all-rounder, I made my first-class debut, I think in 1992 for Western Province as an opening batsman, and I didn't bowl. And it was only the next season that I started bowling and sort of batting middle order and concentrating more on my bowling and let my batting slip a bit, which was a bit naughty of me. But I had to teach myself to be a bowler. But I was fortunate in that the time in Western Province, Duncan Fletcher was the coach, and the bowlers in the side were guys like Merrick Pringle, Craig Matthews, Eric Simons, Brian McMillan, Aubrey Martin, Brett Schultz. There was Adrian Caper. There was a serious bowling lineup. So I had all these guys as coaches teaching me how to bowl. And in order to compete in that side, you had to be really special. So I realized from a young age then that I had to go and work harder than these guys. I had to be fitter than them. And I just had to bowl longer and longer and more hours. So, yes, we'd have our practice where you'd sort of bowl from start to finish. And then outside of practice time, in your own time, there was club cricket and then your own time. And it was just learning how to bowl for long hours and being consistent in doing that.
And so when you're talking about some of these names, that's unbelievable that Western Province had, like you said, Pringle, Simons, Caper. Listen to these names, McMillan, the great Big Mac. So when you were in that system, did you have guys you looked up to maybe from the previous era before you, or was cricket always the dream for you at Sax?
Yeah, cricket was always my dream. I mean, I grew up about 100 meters from Newlands. I used to go down to every practice. I mean, I idolized Peter Kirsten. I wanted to bat number 3 for Western Province of South Africa. I wanted to field like him. And then I wanted to bowl like Garth LaRue. He was my other boyhood hero. So, yes, I'd always wanted to play provincial cricket, but things didn't pan out the way that it did. I got knocked over by a car when I was in Standard 9 and broke my leg, and that sort of put me back quite a bit. And, I ended up in matric year. I never played Nuffield, and then I did my national service for 2 years where I was playing second team cricket. And then I gave up playing cricket at the end of national service because I got a bursary to go and study horticulture up in Pretoria, and I left Cape Town, gave up playing cricket. And only when I got back to Cape Town did a mate of mine who was captaining the Claremont cricket side, a guy called Greg Bing. He came to me and asked me if I wanted to play cricket, and I said, no, I wasn't too keen. He said, no, come and play at Claremont. I need an opening batsman. And I said yes, and that I think's panned out. And I ended up opening with one of my very good mates, Gary Kirsten. He was also opening for Claremont at the time, and we opened the batting for Claremont, and that's where my my sort of career started. And I guess Gary was huge for me in that I saw this chap who was playing provincial cricket, and at that time he was on the brink of playing for South Africa, and I saw the amount of effort that he put in. The amount of hours he spent working both on the technical side of the game and just being super, super fit. And I think that rubbed off on me and left an enduring mark and taught me how to work hard and train hard.
I tell you what, pitching up and you're playing Claremont and you've got Alan Dawson and Gary Kirsten opening the batting. That is a long day for the bowlers. Like that's kind of set up your cooler box at third man if you're the bowlers, because you're going to be going down there all day long. I mean, that must have been a nightmare for any bowlers that were coming to see you two.
No, I mean, that was an unbelievable. I mean, that club side that we played in. It was Gary and I. Jacques Callis was in that side. A young Jacques Callis. A guy called Lance Bleekers who kept and played for Western Province. It was a powerhouse club side that we had in those days. So, yeah, I mean, there were some serious partnerships. But, I mean, also my great mate Andy Kalis, who played for the West Province B side, he was in that side together with the Bing brothers.
Jeez. All right. So, okay, well, you get Kirsten or you get Dawson out. No worries. the guy called Jacques Cullis. He's going to make 10,000 test runs, 10,000 one-day runs. He walks in. Oh my goodness, Weinberg dynasty, just unbelievable. Like that's like, I remember playing a bit of club cricket, nowhere near your level. But in our club team up here in the Highveld, we had a similar situation, but not quite as good as yours. We had a guy called Adam Bacher, who I think you may have played with. And then we had Graham Smith open. And then we had Neil McKenzie at 3. And then I was batting like 7. So, I kind of know what your feelings like, except we didn't have Jacques Cullis at 3. What? Is this... So what's your approach there? Just come in and slog because he's got like a barn door.
No, I mean, Jacques, he only played a handful of club games for us. I mean, he was a youngster at the time and we were with masses of potential. And, Western Province saw that. And then I think he started playing for South Africa in about 1985 or 1995 after he had only been playing provincial cricket, I think, for about 2 years. And I mean, he was identified early. I mean, incredible cricketer. We were just lucky
incredible cricketer. Yeah, for those few games. I mean, that's just unbelievable. By the way, Peter Kirsten, friend of the show now. 2 days ago we had on Thursday we had him on. He is an electric factory. Are you guys close now?
Yeah, no, he's a good man. I mean, like I say, I used to idolize him. Also a good boy. And then, I mean, I ended up playing against him when Peter was playing for Border. And then, once he had retired from playing, he started coaching, and he ended up coaching me at the Cobras. Wonderful, wonderful man, and just got heaps and heaps of knowledge. And, I have huge respect for him. Such a genuine good man.
And, you went on to obviously play at the top of the game. So people see you as a star and a former legend, but sometimes we forget that you're also a human being. What's it like for you? You told us is you idolized Peter Kirsten. What's it like, number one, having him playing with him, having idolized him, and then now just having him as a mate who you can call for a coffee? What's that like to get to be with your idol, or like as often as you'd like, really?
No, I think you just realize that the end of the day, they're just cricketers as well. They were at a different level. I mean, they were superstars. But at the end of the day, they're just cricketers who just want to spend time chatting about the game and who want to improve the game all the time. I mean, I was fortunate enough to have been selected in the over 50s World Cup that was called short due to the pandemic. And we had all these legends around us, ex-cricketers who we idolized, who were ambassadors to the tournament, that we got to communicate and mix with during that World Cup. Guys like Peter and Barry Richards and Mike Proctor and Graham Pollock and Omar Henry, fantastic people. And you sit down at the end of the day and have a dinner or a drink with them, and you just listen to them. They're a fountain of knowledge when it comes to cricket, and all they want to do is talk the game and make sure that the game survives and gets better and improves. Just wonderful being around them.
I can only imagine. Wow, some of those names you just rattled off, like Pollock, Richards. These are, to me, absolute gods of the game. So you've spoken about, your career and your approach to cricket. Something I want to know from you is, I got back into South Africa 2006, 2007 and got back to the club game, it was a very different game than what it is now. I want to say the game's gotten a bit soft for my liking because I'm a hard nose. I think cricketers should be able to have a full go at each other on the field, and then you get off and you have a couple of drinks together. Do you think the game is becoming a bit sanitized with the amount of professionalism and mics that are close to it? Because I know you would have played, for lack of a better term, real cricket, where I'm sure some of the things that were said there wouldn't be allowed into a church, any sort of church gathering or family occasion. Is cricket too sanitized, or do you like where it's gone?
I quite like that word that you use. Yes, I guess it is a bit sanitized, but I think I think it's moved with the times. Yes, we used to chirp each other, but I think the important thing was never to get too personal. And just remember, at the end of the day, the other player was also trying to eke out a living and trying to survive and get selected for the next game. At the end of the day, you know, you go and chirp a guy on the field, make sure you don't get too personal, and then you sit down with him at the end of the game and either have a cool drink or a beer with him and chat about the day's play and chat about cricket and chat about life. I don't think that happens too much because I don't think the guys have too much time. They're on the road the whole time. So I don't think they get the chance to communicate and mix with opposition like we used to, which I think is very sad. I mean, I look at the amount of mates that I've made, you know, all over the place, and it was just really from sitting down with them at the end of the day and having a chat, or like I say, a cool drink or a beer. And I don't think that happens because of the busy schedule nowadays.
Who's the coolest cricketer? Like, I mean, who you've gone hardest with on the field? He was giving you gears, you were giving him gears. Maybe at first slip, chirping you hard, you were giving him gears, and maybe you had a good spell. Who for you in your career is the coolest cricketer that you've hung out with after the game, and he's just a good bloke, even though it's a hard-nosed cricketer on the field?
Jeez, I'll tell you what, it's difficult because I played with and against so many good guys. You know, it's really difficult to pinpoint anyone. But I guess Brett Schultz comes to mind because I remember playing my debut against him where he ran in seriously hard. You know, I was undercated. I wasn't good enough to be opening the batting against a guy like Brett Schultz and Rudy Bryson. And he hit me hard. I mean, he hit me in the ribs and everything, and he chirped me. I mean, there were swear words which he used, which I don't think the guys use those anymore. But at the end of the game, we were able to sit down and have a beer, and Schultz and I have become great mates. You know, we often see each other and have a drink and reminisce about the past. But again, like I said, it never, ever got personal. We were always able to go and sit down and have a chat at the end of the game.
Oh, that's amazing. Jeez, you forget that here was him and Rudy Bryson. That is a frightening. That's two guys that were bowling over 150 as the opening bowlers.
No. It was scary. And like I said, I was thrown into the deep end as an opening batsman on my debut. And I think that first game I made 2-0, and I got hurt. And then the next game against Border, we went up there and it was Otis Gibson and Rod McCurdy bowling. And I think I got 4-0. And that was my first class debut as an opening batsman. After 4 innings, I got 6. I think I was average 1.5. No, it was.
Otis Gibson, as you'll say, yeah, like after Bryson and Schultz have done with you, West Indian legend, why not? Let's throw that guy at you. He's like 7'8" and bowls as fast as a bowling machine.
Yeah, no, and Rod McCurdy as well, sure.
Great for the confidence. Great for the confidence after you just had a duck and 2. But, you know, you said something interesting just now about the game surviving. So I want to be unbiased, right? I only watch Test cricket. I stopped watching one-day cricket years ago, and T20, you can miss me with that. But let's talk a little bit about, do you think we're playing too much T20 cricket, or do you think it's got a role to play within the realm of things? What do you think we need to do? More Test cricket, back to 5-match Test series, or is T20 here to stay because of the money?
I think T20 is going to stay because of the money. I think it attracts masses of the crowd. I think the T20 has moved with modern times. I mean, you look at everything. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot more razzmatazz. It's a lot more money. But Test cricket is the be-all and end-all for cricket, or of cricket for me. I love watching Test cricket. You know, I cannot go to 5 days of a Test match. I'd be too bored. So I watch Test match cricket like a game of chess and choose which sessions I think are going to be the sessions to go and watch. I think what happens in a Test match and the amount of thinking and the gamesmanship is magnificent, and it would be really, really sad to lose that. I don't think it's got to be lost. You've got to hold on to that. But T20 cricket, it's here to stay. It certainly has revolutionized cricket. You look where guys used to bat at 3 and over in Test match cricket in a 90-over day. Look at scoring 270. Guys are now scoring 450 runs in a day. You know, it's just, not 450, 3 to 400 runs in a day. It's just revolutionized the game. It's quickened Test cricket. And guys are more adventurous now playing Test cricket. I mean, you're seeing reverse sweeps in Test cricket. You're seeing a lot more action in Test cricket, and seldom nowadays do you get a drawn Test match or a Test match going to 5 days. It's just speeded up the game.
And do you worry that we're sort of forsaking the skill side? I think Peter Kirsten was saying some of the skill of cricket, the Test cricket, the longer form, is the toughest skill is the mental side. And in T20, it's almost like just reflex stuff and it's over in a, or do you just think that's it? These are the times now we got to go with it.
Yeah, I think, at some stage we've got to stop fighting and just accept the times. We are 20. It is 2020. Test cricket, yes, it's always going to be there, but it's not going to be like it used to be. Things are going to change, and I think we've got to embrace that change. Yes, we want to hold on to the past, but sometimes we just have to let it go so that the game can improve, and it's going to improve. And I'll tell you what, in 10 years' time, Test cricket is going to be completely different to what it is now in 2020. I think T20 is also going to change in 10 years' time.
Wow. And so, geez, I mean, this is interesting stuff. Do you think now, how far are we away from a 4-day Test match, in your opinion?
It's going to be interesting. I mean, put it this way, I certainly wouldn't discount it. I think that at some stage it might get to that. Does it make financial sense to be playing 5-day Test matches when it's only going to 3-4 days? The revenue losing with it not going to the last day. At some stage in the future, you're going to have to look at it seriously and make some decision as to whether it's viable.
Wow. That's, you just put a dagger in my heart because I am a purist. But what you're saying is this is where the world's headed. You are not. Go ahead.
I love the game. I love the game, but I just look at how everything else has evolved and everything else is changing. Really, are we going to sit back and is Test cricket going to remain the same, or does it need to change? I don't know. I guess time will tell whether it's got to be reduced to 4 days.
This is a very, very good point. We see baseball struggling in America, and they're talking about bringing their season down from 162 games. We know this season with the pandemic, they're only having 60 games, and people are saying that'll be great for the sport. Things need to be packaged in tighter. We need to turn it around like this. So I think you're probably putting a dagger in the hearts of us old people like me, but I think you're dead right. Things change, and we can't fight it forever.
I don't know what the right thing is, but I just believe that we've got to move with times. And if time dictates that it's got to be changed, then, so be it.
Well, since you've put a dagger in my heart, I'd like to go back to a part of your life which could not have been easy, right? Now, you were selected, of course. There were a few situations, blah, blah, blah. Makai Ntini, we know what happened to him off the field. But the 1999 World Cup is an interesting one for me. And I remember watching an interview or listening to an interview, your view on how that entire process went. And the 1999 World Cup. What did you think of that entire episode? Even the selection, I know you had some things to say about the build-up and even how we prepared. What did you feel about that 99 sort of escapade that we had?
Well, I mean, it was an unbelievable occasion. I mean, the South African side, it was there to go and win. The World Cup was asked to win. It was an incredibly talented side, a side with serious international cricketers in it. We went there, clearly the favourites. Things were sort of going our way, and then it just, our boat was rocked right at the end there. From my point of view, it was a squad of 15. Del Benkenstein, Derek Crooks, myself, we were in the squad, but we ended up not playing a game in that World Cup, which maybe wasn't the right thing. Maybe the whole squad should have been used. Again, I'll go and have a look when we played Holland in Amstelveen, where I think the Western side would have beaten Holland. We played a full-strength South African side. Whereas I guess if you had played the reserve side, you would have rested a guy like Jacques Kallis. You look, Jacques Kallis got injured in that game at Amstelveen, couldn't play the game against Australia at Headingley where we lost. Had he played, we wouldn't have picked a spinner. Things might have turned out differently had we perhaps used that whole squad system.
Had Kallis in that game, and I mean, of course, in that moment when Herschel Gibbs dropped Steve Waugh in that game, right? People always go to the Klusener moment. I've always said, and listen, Herschel Gibbs, I genuinely believe is the most talented player this country's ever seen. Just raw talent. I think it is what it is. Maybe he didn't live it out, but when he dropped that catch, what was the mood like in the dressing room after Steve Waugh did what he does? I mean, he'll always punish you. What was the mood like at the interval?
No, I actually can't remember. I think the guys, yes, they were frustrated. It obviously wasn't the right thing for Hirsch to do. But Hirsch had been doing that for ages. He was confident of it, and things just happened, and it went horribly wrong for us. And Steve Waugh, he just took that advantage and batted quite superbly there, and took the game away from us at Headingley, forcing us to go and then play in that semi-final against them at Edgbaston.
And then that moment, I mean, is there a way to describe what the dressing room was like after the tragic Donald Klusener incident? And did anybody blame the two? What was the immediate reaction in the dressing room?
Yeah, it wasn't. I think everybody was just stunned, silent in the change room. I mean, it was an emotional change room. What had happened. I feel sorry for Alan. And I feel that it's unfair that he gets blamed for it, because I personally feel that Alan shouldn't have been batting. I think the batters should have won that game for us. The batters that had got themselves in, got themselves out. I think they're the ones that should take the blame, not Alan, for that run out. He shouldn't have been batting in that situation there.
Wow. Okay. And wow. That's so true, because all we had to get was 199 on a pretty flat track, really.
Yeah, I know. It got down to the end. I mean, in that last over, Lance Klusener hit two of the hardest hit boundaries I'd seen off Damian Fleming. And with 3 balls to go, we needed to get 1 run. And then, I think the third last ball, there was that panic where there was almost a run out, and then with 2 balls to go, we had that horrid run out that put us out the tournament.
That's got to be. No, does that ever come to your mind? Like, oh, that must be. I think of it now. I feel sick.
No, I mean, there was just so many emotions that were going through you at the time. And it was quite interesting, because after that game, I wasn't going to sit around and mope at the hotel. And I actually ended up going out for a drink with Del Benkenstein and Gary Kirsten. And we actually ended up going to the Walkabout pub, which is an Australian pub in Birmingham after the game. And I must say, the Australian team, they were unbelievable when we arrived there. They really were. They're a really good bunch of guys. But there was just all these emotions going through us. I mean, we couldn't believe what had happened. And I think the Australians as well. I don't think they could believe what had just happened.
Jeez. Listen, I'm actually stunned now. I didn't think it would arouse that sort of emotion in me. That Australian team, now that we're on them, do you think we'll ever see a cricketing dynasty like that in our lifetime again? From Waugh to Clark to Ponting to Clark, the way they've dominated cricket for the last 20 years, even from Alan Border, but from Steve Waugh, they really started to turn the screw, right? Because then they had Warne, and then they had McGrath, and then they had Gillespie, and then they had Lee, and then they had Bickle, and then they had Damian Martin at 6, and then they had Gilchrist. Like, they really... What was that like, coming up against that force? Had you almost lost the game mentally before you even came against them more often than not?
No, I think in that tournament, I think South Africa's arrived there as the favourites. I think that the Australian side, when you look at how powerful they are and how they dominated world cricket, yes, I think there are going to be sides like that dominate world cricket, but I don't think they're going to have sides nowadays that are going to dominate world cricket for as long as what they dominated for. I think the game's continually evolving, and you're having new players coming in the whole time. Yes, there's going to be great sides, but I don't think they're going to be sides that are going to dominate for as long as what they dominated.
And of course, we know, listen, Hansi, for all his downside, I don't want to talk about all that. But one thing I kept reading about his regime, you guys were, fitness was not an option in that team. I understand that is the, I keep reading that is the fittest cricket team that there's ever been. Is that correct? Was Hansi just all about, if you're not fit, you're not playing in this team?
Yeah, Hansi just set the example. I mean, he was the fittest. He was unbelievable. And I think it just rubbed off on everybody. I mean, you didn't want to disappoint him. So you worked really hard on your physical conditioning and really put the time and the hours in. And Hansi would call a run or training, and nobody would budge. Everybody would just get up and do as he said. Everybody just respected him and didn't want to disappoint him.
And when we talk, I mean, that's amazing to hear, because can I be honest with you? I look at our Proteas team now, and I'm not afraid to say this. You don't have to say it, but let me tell you, it sickens me to see how overweight some of our players are. I don't know how it lands for you, because you're fitness. You look like you could play now. I look at some of our players. I can't look at Petlugwaya. I'm sorry. I have to call it out. I'm not a sportsman, but I can't tolerate how overweight these guys are. Like, what is going on here? Do we take this seriously or not?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't watch too much cricket, so I don't really know the condition of the guys. Good answer. But, I mean, they've got their conditioning coaches. They've got their physios. These guys must be on a training program that they've got to adhere to, and there's got to be standards that they've got to meet. If they're not being met, then sure, the powers that be must come down hard on them.
Yeah, fair enough. I just want to say, from my part, I'm sickened, by the way, for all cricketers. Any sportsman being overweight you have no excuse. If you're a single mom with 2 kids who has to walk them in a pram and you're carrying a little extra weight, no problem. The Proteas, it is revolting. I've just said it. Alan, I can't take it. I don't know why any sportsman's overweight anyway. You can see I'm pretty emotional about this stuff.
Yeah, I think if a guy's overweight and he's performing, I don't think you can question him.
Oh, fair enough. I got you there. So, Alan, it's amazing to me that you're such a relaxed guy. Like, this guy used to be a world-class cricketer, and he's doing his thing. Tell me about the 50s World Cup. What is it? Because some people may not know what it is. What is it? How did you get involved? And are you loving it? What's it like being there with all those legends?
I'll tell you what, it was fantastic. I initially said no, I wasn't going to. I didn't want to be part of it. I thought it would be a joke. And then the director, Roger Malt, and our manager, Roy Meeser, they persuaded me to go and trial. And I must say, it was such an awesome team, captained by Dave Callaghan. It was a whole bunch of ex-provincial cricketers. It really was one of the happiest sides that I've ever played in. There were guys playing cricket with no issues. Everybody just wanted to perform. I was super surprised at the standard. I didn't realize how tough it was going to be. I ended up getting injured and pulling hamstrings and groins and the whole lot. It was really intense, and you're almost playing back-to-back games. But it was fun. It was almost like how cricket used to be played, where you played hard on the field, you chirped and you joked, but then you can have a drink with the guys or a meal with the guys. The first game against Wales, I think we ended up playing at Cape Town Cricket Club, and then we all went back. We were all staying at a hotel at Lagoon Beach in Cape Town. All the teams were staying there, and we'd all get together at the hotel and just reminisce and have great fun. It was magnificent. We had only played the 2 games. We played against Wales and England. Thank goodness we beat both of them. And then in the 3rd game, we were playing against India at Langa. We had bowled our 45 overs, came in for lunch. and they called the tournament or the game and the tournament off there because of COVID. So it was really sad that it was cut short. But I'll tell you what, the amount of fun that I had, the team that I played in, an absolute bunch of champions, and we've kept going. We've kept the WhatsApp group going, and we have virtual fines meetings. The guys are still joking and chirping with each other, and all the guys wanted to just get together and go and play cricket again. It really was a fantastic experience, but just also the interest that it created. I mean, we played a game at Wynberg Boys High, and Wynberg Boys were unbelievable in what they put on for our game against England. We must have had close to 2,000 people watching us play there. I think that's more than you get watching any provincial game nowadays.
And some test matches.
Yeah, no. So it was a fantastic experience. And yeah, I mean, I think what it did is that I haven't played any cricket since I retired from cricket in 2007. I just played a little six-a-side here and there. But I think what this did, it just sort of reignited my passion for the game, my love for playing the game. It was fun, and I cannot wait to get onto a field with my teammates again and go and play.
So wait, hold on. If you're not playing cricket, how are you staying in this type of shape? What are you doing? Cycling, Pilates, yoga? What's going on there?
Yeah, no. I try and keep as fit as possible. I do a lot of walking and take my dogs for a walk in the forest, or I'm mountain biking, or a bit of running or gymming. And I think also just the work that I do. I've got a landscaping business, and I'm outdoors every day on different sites, walking around sites, breathing in fresh air, and just trying to keep as fit and healthy as possible.
Hey, let's talk about it. Business. Talk about your business. I mean, let's have it. I love sportsmen who are... let me tell you what I love, Alan, is, I want to be honest. So I'm an idiot. I don't know anything but sport. It's the only thing I've ever done a little bit well. Now I'm fortunate enough that this could become my life, right? Talking to people I looked up to and talking about what I love. I love cricket. Is sometimes sportsmen become just that, and then they become viewed as just that, and then afterwards they have no identity outside. So I will always support sportsmen that show a spectrum of humanity. Like, hey, I'm capable of, I'll pitch up at the World Cup in 99 and I'm good enough to be there. And now you doing something else, which is completely miles away from cricket. And I love that you're showing that you've got a personality and skills beyond just bowling and batting.
Yeah, well, thank you. But, for me, it was my choice to give up cricket and go and study horticulture when I'd left the army. And I think what it did for me, while I studied and worked while playing cricket, so I'd go to the World Cup and come back, and the next day I'd be at work. I think what it did is it kept me balanced. If I realized that I went to a cricket practice unprepared and not getting anything out of it, I'd rather be at work, and vice versa. So it helped me to become more focused and more organized, and kept me grounded. But I think the thing that it helped me with as a cricketer, as a sportsman, you're going to go through periods where you don't perform, where you're going to have a bad run. And if you've got nothing else, your mind's continually focused on that. Whereas I had a chance to break away from that and go and clear my mind and go and garden, go and landscape. And that helped me to sort of keep grounded. I know now, I mean, I've had my business for 26 years. I studied horticulture and landscape design. I wake up in the morning wanting to go to work. I love what I do. To be creative and to go and turn, a desert into an oasis. It's wonderful. The chance to be creative with other people's money, I guess, is fantastic.
Hey, that's always the best. You're like the Michelangelo of the outdoors. Give me your money. I'm going to make it look great. Because, hey, I've seen your gardens on YouTube, right? Like, top billing stuff. People don't know. Alan, we'll talk about it now. But did that side of you come from, is there family that has green fingers? Did a mentor of yours just say, the outdoors are great? I know Cape Town's a lifestyle city. Where did that bug come from to get into the horticulture?
I guess it came from my grand. My grand lived with us when we were growing up, and she was always potting. She had a hothouse, and we were always growing plants. And my older brother He studied horticulture as well, and we ended up being business partners for many years. He's now has a wholesale nursery up on the West Coast in Cape Town, a very successful business. So yeah, I think I think those green fingers were always in the Dawson household. And like I say, I love what I do. I'm excited to wake up in the morning and go to work and do what I love and be creative every day.
Hey, I want to try and impress you with a bit of horticulture knowledge. Your hero, Peter Kirsten, is not related to Keith Kirsten. Just thought I'd let you know. That might be breaking news to you. I'm just letting you know, and you're welcome. It's probably been killing you. It's probably been killing you. So
I think it will kill Peter when he's at the airport and somebody comes up to him and says, "Hello, Keith."
He said he pitched up as an MC one day at an event, and the guy introduced him as like Keith Kirsten like 5 times. Oh man, he's an electric factory. So tell us about the business, because some people may not know how to that you are doing this, and I can't believe you've had it for 26 years, by the way, and that's such a cool story about your grand. Wait, hold on. Sorry, what on God's green earth is a hothouse?
A hothouse. A hothouse is a structure that's controlled to keep the heat in, so that it's easy to go and propagate plants. So you can propagate plants as successfully during the winter months as you do during the summer months. It's a controlled environment.
Oh, that just sounds like a bad relationship. Just a controlled environment where we. All right, that's a hothouse. And that's amazing. That's it, to me. I just find it phenomenal that you were that, and you've gone on to have this amazing. Because you really are a scientist, you know. I absolutely love that. So tell us a little bit about the business. Where can people find it? How can we support you?
We're based in Cape Town. We've got a little small holding down in Philippi, down on the Cape Flats, where we grow a lot of our own plants. We've got a nursery down there. We grow for our own needs. We supply ourselves. And then we've got offices in Deep River. We operate all over Cape Town, from Franschhoek to Stellenbosch, Paarl, Somerset West, southern suburbs, the deep south, Atlantic Seaboard, City Bowl, all over. And we're looking to spread outside of Cape Town. We're not a massive business. There's 45 of us in the business. We pride ourselves on our wonderful clients that we have. People that have looked after us. They're people that have been clients for 26 years. And, I don't like calling them clients. They become more like friends. And, we base our advertising on word of mouth. We don't really advertise much. We're fortunate enough in that we work with some really, really good developers and interior decorators and designers and architects and builders in Cape Town that we have that we forged a wonderful relationship with over the last 26 years.
That's awesome. So would you speak to a developer if they've got a new building? It's like, okay, we'll take care of what the gardens should look like. We'll take care of what makes sense, what will work here, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the language.
Yeah, that's it. What we'll do with a lot of the developers, our sort of niche markets, the sort of residential markets, we work with developers who do these sort of mini security estates. We'll come in and do everything from clearing the plot to landscaping and paving, whatever is going to happen outdoors. So we specialize sort of in the residential market. We don't do too much commercial or industrial landscaping. Just the residential stuff. Anything from a penthouse up to a farm.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll maybe you can give us the details, and then everything you give us, we'll put it in the description. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you, so where do guys go to get a hold of you, and then how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can just go to our website, which is www.alandawsongardens.co.za, or they can just email us on info@alandawsongardens.co.za. We'd appreciate your call.
Hey, Alan Dawson, huh? Green fingers. Like, listen, medium fast out swingers, and then he swings out, and he's just going to put every garden on top billing in the world. Absolutely love it. Alan, appreciate the time you've given us. We got an adoring public because you're a legend. Do you mind taking some questions before we let you go?
Absolutely.
Dave, what we got from Mr. Green Fingers down in Cape Town? Alan, which team had the best chirp, and what's the best chirp you've ever heard or given?
Sure. That's that's very hard. I mean, some of those chirps you can't repeat on the radio.
Hey, not a kids show, by the way. Not a kids show, just so you know.
Some of the best chirps.
This is not a kids show.
You know, I think every time Merrick Pringle said something, people laughed. He was one of the funniest chaps and the best characters to play with. Brian McMillan as well. He wasn't ever short of a chirp. Very, very clever. But yeah, I think there were just so many chirps. I mean, I think it would be unfair to sort of bottle it up and just give one. But I mean, incredible characters. And I think I sort of played in an era where guys had the freedom to chirp. But like I said earlier on, it never got personal. It was always fun, and I think both sides always had a good laugh.
That's great. Tell me something. Did you ever have a batsman where you knew if you chirp him, he's like his mind is gone?
No. I don't think I ever was ever on top of a batsman like that. I think there were certain batters that I wouldn't chirp because I was too scared of them hurting too much and hitting me too far.
I love that. Mark LaRue says, what do you think of Quinton de Kock as the future Protea captain?
I think Quinton de Kock is, he's an incredible cricketer. I just think that there's a lot on his plate as a batsman, as a skipper, and a keeper. I think in time, yes, there is a chance of him captaining, but I think that they've got to work cleverly with him. He's just got so much on his plate, and I think time will tell. And I think it would be interesting if you go and ask him as to whether he would like the position. At this stage, I just think there's a lot on his plate. He's also the senior player. You've had senior players retiring. And he's got a lot on his plate. There's it's a big mantle taking over that captaincy. There's a lot that comes with that captaincy. And
having said that, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I certainly wouldn't want him to take that captaincy to the detriment of his game.
Now you're raising an interesting question. We've got another question, but let me ask you this on top of the Quinton de Kock situation. Who would you make captain then if you were in the shoes of Boucher and Smith?
Sure. Again, there's a difficult choice. I think Dean Elgar springs to mind. I think he looks like a really level-headed, organized individual who I think is a deep thinker. I think he's got great cricket knowledge. He'd probably be my choice.
It's an interesting one, right? Has it ever worked with an opening batsman? I mean, Smith is unique, but since Alan Border, it's really been middle order or it's been really all-rounders, right? That tend to be captains. Very rarely is it the opening batsman. It's been Alan Border and it's been Graham Smith. Other than that, I mean, you look at Fleming, middle order. Who the great ones? Smith, Ponting. I always worry about opening batsmen and wicket keepers being captains because I just think it's too much of a load. Like, is there anything harder than opening and batting in Test cricket?
No, I think it's going to be tough, but I do believe that he's got the makeup to be able to, and I think he's mature enough and wise enough and got enough knowledge of the game to be able to do both.
Got you. Dean Elgar. All right. The green fingers that Mr. Dawson possesses have said Dean Elgar as the next captain. I like that one. Billy Not Talented says, do you still win a boat race fines? Do you still win at boat race fines meetings?
No. I never used to win. Cheapers. I always used to come second and have to have another one for coming second. No. I'm certainly not high up there when it comes to downing beers or winning boat races. That's not me. No.
I'm a dork. Unbelievable handle here. Do any of your gardening projects include 22 yards of pole?
No. Jesus, we do. We actually building a bull court at the moment for a client, but I don't think that's 22 yards. I think that's more like 16, 17 yards. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting what we do. I mean, in our business, we build sports centers, cricket nets, the whole lot. Whatever the client wants, we try and offer a turnkey solution to it, and give them what they want.
Okay, you got to give the people what they want. I got one more for you. Zeto Rover says, which bowler have you played which hit the bat the hardest? That's a great question.
Yeah, there's sure. I remember in that World Cup in 1999, Jacques Kallis bowled a spell to Sri Lanka, where I reckon that was the quickest that I'd ever seen Jacques bowl or a South African bowler bowl. It was lightning quick, and he hit the bat seriously hard. The other one was Brett Schultz, big, strong left armer, who he didn't really want to get guys out. He wanted to hurt guys. He used to hit the bat seriously hard.
The Schultz from the Eastern Cape, huh?
Yeah. That's big bear Schultz.
What a wild time to be alive, where I get to a clown like me gets to speak to a living legend. I can't believe it. Alan also are one of the coolest guys ever, considering what you've done for cricket. And so, where can people look for you? You just out there? Are you actually getting your hands dirty, or you kind of has the business gotten to an age where there's so many projects that you kind of need to oversee it? And then I'd imagine at 18 years old, then the daughter, you got to try and keep every single Bishop Sachs, any of those guys away from her. Then your 21-year-old son obviously knows everything. Like, is life just, are you just needing to like have 8 hands right now to handle and spin all the plates in life?
No, jeez, it's been a hectic time. It's actually been wonderful during the lockdown. It's given us time just to reconnect and get back to the basics things. I think, in terms of getting your hands dirty in the garden, it gave me an opportunity to get my hands dirty in the garden. Unfortunately, I don't get the chance to go and work in gardens anymore. Hands-on, I'm there procuring work and meeting clients and design. I've got people in positions that do all the hard work for me. But yeah, I mean, I just again just try and keep it very, very simple, and not I don't try and reinvent the wheel.
Smart. The wheel's thousands of years old. Not good to reinvent that. Tell me, are those kids, have you put them to work yet? You said they were 18 and 21. By now they should when are they moving out of home so you can actually start enjoying your life and not spending all your money on them?
Yeah, no. Both my kids are at Stellenbosch. They're both studying economics. It's been unfortunate. I mean, my daughter first year at Stellenbosch, she hasn't been able to get there, and they're not going back to Stellenbosch this year. Wow. And my son goes back at the end of this month to go and finish up. But yeah, they keep us busy. But I think with adult kids as well, it's also wonderful. I mean, you just reach another level where you can communicate and do things with them completely differently. So no, it's a good time.
Alan Dawson, cricketer, father, horticulturist. That'll be in when you, because you look like you're 15 now. In 85 years' time, when you die, on your stone we shall write cricketer, horticulturist, father of the year. Mr. Alan Dawson, it has been an honor, and I can't wait to have you back. So whenever you want to come back, you got a place here because you're a legend.
And Mbulela, thanks very much. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and thanks for a lekker interview. That was fantastic. Thanks a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, absolute honor, Western Province Cobras legend and Protea cricketer, Alan Dawson. That is so cool. What a cool guy. What a cool guy. Like international cricketer, He's just happy with his family. His business has been ticking over 26 years. And by the way, get yourself on YouTube. Go to Alan Dawson Gardens because it is sensational what he does. He isn't a horticulturist. He's an artist. He is an absolute artist. Ladies and gentlemen, for today, it has been a different ball game. We got our guy, Paul Delport, tomorrow. Fantastic scrum half in his day, doing interesting things in rugby. So for today, it has been a different ball game. Until the next time.